In a world ruled by gods, who holds the power to decide the destiny of all, even the gods themselves? Long before the Olympians took their thrones, before Zeus reigned as king of the gods, there existed a force more ancient, more powerful, and far more terrifying than any deity. These entities were known as the Moirai, or the Fates, three sisters who ruled the destiny of every mortal and immortal being. Cloaked in mystery and fear, they were unseen architects of the universe, their silent work shaping the very fabric of life. Their names were Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropus, and together, they controlled the span of every life, be it that of a humble peasant or an all-powerful god. The truth of their power was whispered in hushed tones, for the gods, too, feared them. The Moirai were beyond time, beyond judgment, and beyond the rule of Olympus. Clotho, the youngest, spun the thread of life. She stood at the beginning of every existence, her spinning wheel turning with quiet precision as she drew forth the essence of being from the void. Every birth was tied to her work, but even she did not choose when to begin the process. It was as if life itself flowed through her hands. Lachesis, the middle sister, measured the thread. Her hand determined the length of a mortal's life, and she decided how much suffering, joy, and trial one would face. Her cold eyes never wavered, for to her, life was a matter of balance. Every soul was weighed and given what it deserved, whether in hardship or ease. But Lachesis also controlled the destinies of gods, and even they were not immune to her judgments. Atropus, the eldest, was the most feared. She held the shears, the instrument that would sever the thread of life. When she chose to cut the thread, no force, not even the mighty Zeus, could stop her. Her decision was final, absolute, and the end came swiftly, whether in old age, battle, or tragedy. It was Atropus who held the ultimate power, for in her hands rested death itself. The Olympian gods, for all their might and arrogance, lived in terror of the Moirai. Zeus, king of the gods, would not interfere with their work, for even he could not change a destiny once it had been spun, measured, and cut. Legend tells of a moment when Zeus once tried to alter the fate of his beloved son, Sarpedon, during the Trojan War. Knowing his son was destined to die, Zeus was filled with sorrow and rage, contemplating defiance against the Moirai. But even he, in all his divine fury, dared not challenge the sisters, for to do so would risk unraveling the very fabric of fate itself. The gods' fear was rooted in the understanding that they, too, were subjects of the Moirai. Though they ruled over men and nature, their reign was temporary. The Moirai wove the destinies of mortals and gods alike, and it was whispered that one day, they would decide the end of the Olympians' era. This secret knowledge haunted Zeus, for the Moirai had foreseen the fall of the gods, an era where even his throne would be taken by another. Among mortals, the Moirai's work was viewed as cruel yet inevitable. Many sought to evade their destiny, but none could escape the sisters' decree. Atropus, for instance, was born with a prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother. Despite his parents' efforts to change his fate, every step they took only brought him closer to fulfilling the dark prophecy. The Moirai's work was relentless, and no mortal could alter the path they had woven. But the Moirai's darkest secret was not that they controlled life and death, it was the knowledge they kept hidden from both gods and mortals. For while they spun the fates of individuals, they also spun the fate of the world. They held within their weaving the ultimate end of all things, a shadowed destiny even they dared not speak of. In their cosmic loom, they had foreseen a time when the gods would fall. The golden age of Olympus would crumble into ruin, and new forces would rise to take their place. This truth was known to no one but the Moirai, and they kept it locked away in the strands of fate. The gods believed themselves eternal, but the sisters knew better. Their weaving stretched far beyond the lifetimes of men and gods, into the void of eternity. The Moirai rarely spoke, for their actions needed no words. In silence, they spun the universe's destiny, and in silence, they watched as the gods played their games of power and control. Yet behind every divine squabble, every heroic quest, and every mortal tragedy, the sisters wove the threads that connected all things. Their work was indifferent to morality or justice. They did not punish or reward, they simply maintained the balance of existence. But their dark secret, that even the gods were not immortal in the eyes of fate, remained hidden, locked within the patterns of the loom. In the end, the Moirai are not merely figures of myth, but symbols of the inevitable passage of time. They remind us that no one, neither man nor God, can escape their fate. Their silent, relentless weaving continues even now, as the threads of life, death, and destiny stretch across the cosmos. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not that the Moirai control destiny, but that they choose to keep the ultimate fate of the world hidden.